items on Amazon. So just hold tight. We're going to get started in just a moment. Again, going to share some top picks about holiday items that I love on Amazon. So hold tight. We're going to get started in just a moment, and we'll dive in and talk about some top picks. So again, I'm Thomas Smith, and I'm here to talk about some of my top picks for really awesome holiday items. And these are some gift ideas. These are some things that are helpful to have in your house over the holidays. And we're just going to dive in and talk about some of these products. This is a fireside chat. We are live. This is not a real fireplace. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. And I'm very happy to answer any questions you have about any of the products that I'm talking about here today. So let's dive in first with a couple of cool gift ideas, some things that I think are really great devices that are great to give as a gift around the holidays. So if you know somebody that's really into fitness, I would definitely advise check out some of the wearables that are available. And one that I really love that I've actually been wearing personally for over a year now is the Fitbit Sense smartwatch. So you can see I'm wearing that right here on my wrist. I've actually been wearing it basically almost every hour of every day for over a year now. And you can do that. It's actually waterproof, so you can wear it if you're swimming, you can wear it in the shower, you can basically wear it all the time unless you're charging it. It does have an excellent battery life, probably about 4 to 5 days in my experience. And this is just absolutely bristling with sensors. And you know, the name Sense kind of implies that, so I think that's definitely true, that this is really got the best-in-class sensors of any smartwatch or wearable that I've tested. And what it allows you to do is monitor all kinds of things about your steps when you're working out, about your heart rate, even to measure some overall health information, things like your heart rate variability, and there's actually a pulse oximeter built into this, so you can see your oxygen levels overnight when you're using this device. So there's a lot of great things built into the Fitbit Sense here. You can hold it up and you can see it's got a screen on there on the smartwatch, and you can get apps. You can scroll over here and you can see there's a bunch of different popular apps. You can do basic things like set an alarm. You can get a calendar that syncs with your phone's calendar. There's all kinds of different apps you can download on there. But again, I think the coolest thing is that fitness and health tracking that you can do. And if you're just joining me, we are live, so feel free to ask any questions that you have about any of the products. We're talking about the Fitbit Sense smartwatch right here. And you can see if I go into the Fitbit Today app on here, which is where you get most of your data, we get things like our step count, we get our current heart rate, we get distance, and we get some information also on sleep. So that's one of the coolest things that it uses all of those sensors in there to do, is actually track your sleep extremely accurately. And you get a sense, no pun intended, of how you slept the night before, how many hours you slept, what stages of sleep you were in. And again, because the Fitbit Sense smartwatch has your basics like accelerometers and the kind of things you'd expect to have in every smartwatch, you get some of the basic data like movement data, but then because it's integrating those more advanced smart sensors for things like, in this case, it measures skin temperature overnight, and that pulse oximeter that's measuring your blood oxygen levels overnight, you get this really detailed breakdown of how well you slept and also how effective your workouts were. And also some other just health metrics that you can track over time. Again, one of those is heart rate variability, and there's even stress tracking metrics here on the Fitbit Sense smartwatch. So over the holidays, obviously it can be a stressful time. It's nice to have some of these stress tracking metrics that you can use to gauge your overall level of physical stress. And the way that you do that, there's actually some sensors built into the bezel around the watch here. And there's actually an app on there where you can take a electrical reading using that sensor. And you actually put your hand on top of the watch and open that app. And over about 2 minutes, it'll actually measure your overall physical stress level using electroconductivity of your skin. So it's measuring what they call micro sweats, little events that indicate in the aggregate your overall body stress level, and it'll tell you that in the Fitbit app and give you a reading, and you can try to do things like there's some guided meditations you can access in the app, and that can actually improve your stress level, they say, over time. You also get a stress management metric from the Fitbit Sense that gives you your overall level of how well you're managing physical stress. If you're just joining me, we're talking about the Fitbit Sense smartwatch. I think this is a great holiday gift idea, a great option if you have somebody in your life that loves fitness and loves working out, or even if you just want to, again, work on your stress levels and managing those better in the new year. It's a resolution I think a lot of people have in these times, so it's nice to have the ability to do that on the Fitbit Sense smartwatch. One other really great feature on there, it actually has an FDA-approved function to do an ECG reading. That's a reading that's going to help to measure your heart health. And again, you can do that using the bezel on the front of the watch, and then it gives a report which you can provide to your doctor to have a starting conversation point for talking a bit more about that. So it's helpful to have that ability to do a quick scan and to get some information there, and potentially to improve your stress levels and your health, and just to work out and sleep more effectively in the new year. So great option here for a wearable from Fitbit, the Fitbit Sense advanced smartwatch. Another wearable that I really like that has a lot of the same functions as the Fitbit Sense, but that's a little bit more basic of a design, is this is the Amazon Halo Band. So this is a little band that you can put on your wrist, and I am live right now, so feel free to ask any questions about any of the products you see here. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please follow me, press the follow button, and you can get all my live streams. So this is the Amazon Halo Band. And again, it's another wearable. It's very much like the Fitbit Sense in some ways. So it's got step tracking, it's got heart rate tracking. It's going to use those metrics to be able to give you a sense of how you slept. But it adds some other really neat functionality as well. But one thing I really like about it is that this actually has no screen on it. So it's very basic, also waterproof. The Fitbit Sense, if you're wearing it, you might be a little distracted by the screen on your wrist all the time. So it's kind of nice to have a device that does away with the screen, but still keeps all of that advanced tracking. This syncs with the Halo app on your phone, so you can pull up all of your metrics, and you can wear this, put it on my other wrist. It's got this little fabric band on there. We're going to open this up, just put this on your wrist. It's comfortable. I actually think the fabric band on the Halo here is one of the more comfortable wearables out there. It's pretty easy to attach this, seems pretty sturdy. Again, I've worn this for about 6 months testing it out. I've worn this guy for about a year, so been able sometimes to wear them just like I'm doing now at the same time. If you're just joining me, we're talking about holiday picks, and we're talking about a couple different wearables right now, specifically the Amazon Halo Band. If you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. I'm very happy to help answer them. So again, with this, no screen, it's just this nice sort of fabric band on it, and you can pull up all of the metrics that you would need in the Halo app. So I can pull up some of those. But one cool thing that this adds is it actually adds the ability to track your language and the way that you're speaking. And so you can actually pull up live, or you can record throughout the day with the Amazon Halo Band. You can see that featured here if you want to take a look at it. You can actually pull up and see how you sounded to the people around you, believe it or not. So it actually analyzes your speech, and it'll tell you if you sound frustrated or angry, or maybe you sound positive. And it's a really cool capability because we're not always so aware, I think, of how we sound to the people around us. It's actually got a microphone. You can enable this and disable this, so you can decide to turn it off if you want to switch it on. You're totally in control of how that's being monitored. But you can actually record and see how you sound to the people around you, see if there's times of the day, maybe if you're in a big meeting, you're kind of stressed, do you come off that way, and work on changing or at least being more cognizant of how you sound to the people around you, and maybe making some changes or improvements there. Again, looking towards the new year, making resolutions. This is both of these are great wearables if you want to be making some of those health resolutions. And I really love that both of them in different ways expand beyond just that sort of fitness space. So again, with the Fitbit Sense smartwatch, we saw that it expands into stress tracking, gives you metrics for tracking your stress levels over time. I think that's a really great and important thing. And then also with the Halo Band, you have that ability to track the way you sound to people. And there's some functions built into the Halo app that also allow you to do things like use the camera on your phone to track body fat percentages and that kind of thing. and you can actually measure those, again, using a tie-in to this Halo Band device. If you're just joining us, we are live, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I'm very happy to answer any questions about any of the devices that we're talking about here. And I'll just show really quickly, I don't have the data for today synced, but there's the Halo app, and you're going to get all of these different metrics about your overall activity level and steps and sleep and everything here in the app. And one of the things I really like about the Halo Band is it actually takes all of that data and synthesizes it into one metric. It gives you a points score for the day, giving you your overall activity level. So Fitbit kind of tends to expose a ton of data. You're kind of left to make sense of it for yourself. I like that the Halo Band takes activity levels, it takes movement, it takes heart rate data, and it gives you this overall activity score for the day. And that's just one nice metric, and you can try to improve that over time. And I like also that it acknowledges there's two ways to make improvements there. You can either work out for longer at a low intensity, so maybe it's the holidays and you just want to take a stroll around the block. You get points for doing that kind of low intensity exercise for a longer time period, maybe an hour walk. But also you can get points for doing a high intensity exercise for a shorter time period. So maybe you're going to do some high intensity interval training or some weightlifting or something like that, and you'll get, even if you do a shorter workout, you'll get more points because it's more intense. So you can balance however you want to do it, or a combination, or switching off days to have recovery days. And I really like that it acknowledges that it's not all about intensity. You can also do these low intensity workouts and just add volume and do more of that workout. So I like that there's that and also it's easy. It's easy just to see one metric and not have to go through and look at all of this complex data that you can sometimes have to wade through with the Fitbit. That said, if you like getting a ton of data, the Fitbit Sense is really great for that. And I'll just pull up some of the data that you get in here. This is the Fitbit app I've got on my phone. You can see we get a stress management score, we get a sleep score, we get some data on the total number of hours of sleep. In my case, it was 6 hours and 10 minutes, so not a huge amount of sleep. But you can really start to break that down and see a lot of great data in there. So I think both of these wearables are a great option for the holidays. Both of these are something that you can definitely check out as a gift or a gift for yourself, especially if you're planning to make some changes in the new year and some resolutions. These are great devices to keep you accountable and keep you moving towards those resolutions. So if you have any questions, again, we are live here, so thanks to everybody who's tuning in, and feel free to ask any questions. Just put them right in the chat, and I'm happy to answer those for you. Talk about any of the products that we've got here in front of us today. Let's dive in and talk about some other great holiday picks, some things that are useful to have and some things that are great gifts. I'm going to talk a little bit here about the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. So this is let's see, I got a question in chat. Have I tested their accuracy? I think this is referring back to the Fitbit and the Amazon Halo Band. Yes, I actually have tested their accuracy. So the step accuracy is very good for both of them. I think both devices at this point, this is from Kathy, so thank you for putting that question in. I think both devices are actually really great at this point in terms of the accuracy of their step counting. Early Fitbits, I had the first Fitbit ever to come out. It was this little paperclip thing that you wear, and it wasn't great at counting steps. The Fitbits have gotten more and more accurate over time as they've improved their metrics and their ability to analyze the data that you're tracking. And I actually will do this. I'll put on the Fitbit Sense. I'll start it. I'll see what my starting step count is. I'll pace out 100 steps, and then I'll look and see how close it got to counting exactly 100 steps. And it's actually quite accurate. It's usually within probably about 2 or 3 steps of that 100. So not exactly perfect every single time, but it is surprisingly accurate. And one thing I would also say about the Fitbit Sense is that it's actually gotten more accurate at counting different kinds of movement. So I've got kids. If I'm pushing a stroller, it used to be that because my wrist was more stationary, I wouldn't get credit for the steps that I took when I was doing that. And that was a little frustrating. Now the tracking seems to have improved, and it's actually much better able to track the step count really accurately on there. Heart rate, it's I think a little bit more variable there because it's not like a heart rate sensor that you wear that's sort of a medical grade sensor. It's at your wrist. It's using there's a little colored light underneath here that's shining into your skin. You might be able to see this little blinking green light, and that's how it's measuring your heart rate. Still accurate, I think, for comparison's sake. I don't know about the raw data there, how accurate it is, but certainly to know how intense is this workout versus the workout I did yesterday or the day before. And that's ultimately, I think, the biggest benefit there is just knowing, am I doing something that's getting me towards the top of my heart rate range, or am I doing something that's a lower intensity? For the Amazon Halo Band, similar deal. I think that the step counting is really accurate. People have been doing this for a long time, so the algorithms are quite good. And what I like about this, though, is that it's less focused on steps. Fitbit has always used steps as kind of their primary metric, and this is focused more on overall levels of activity. So if you do something that doesn't involve taking steps, you're still going to get these activity points from the Halo Band that kind of add up over time, and you can track that. And so I like that this is not so focused on the step count. It's more focused on the sort of holistic, how much did I move on a given day? So accuracy, I think overall pretty good. Certainly good on the steps. Heart rate, I haven't verified that with an outside device, but it does seem to give you a sense overall of how intense your workout is. So thank you for that question. Kathy, any other questions that people have, please do feel free to put those right in the chat. I'm very happy to answer those and talk about, in this case, the Amazon Halo Band. We're comparing that. I guess I didn't jump in planning necessarily to make a comparison, but with the Fitbit Sense, two really great wearables that are a great option for the holidays. Really great for a gift. Also really great if you want to set some resolutions for the new year, maybe improve your working out, improve your exercise. And again, with both of these, you get really great sleep tracking. To me, that's actually one of the best functions. And again, to answer Kathy's question about accuracy, the sleep tracking is actually really accurate on both devices. So again, in the early days of wearables, you actually had to tell the device when you went to sleep, which I found kind of stressful. It was like, am I really going to sleep now? Okay, I got to press this button, start my sleep. All right, now I got to fall asleep. It was kind of added to the stress of, of falling asleep. Now it's actually done totally automatically, which is awesome. So you fall asleep, it's tracking your heart rate, it's tracking your movement. In the case of the Fitbit, it's tracking your blood oxygen levels. So it can tell when you fell asleep, and it can tell when you woke up. And you can get interesting metrics like, if you woke up in the night and you didn't even remember it, you can go into the Fitbit app or into the Halo app and actually see, okay, this is the number of times I woke up in the night. This is the number of times that, I kind of woke up and didn't even realize it. This is the sleep stage I was in when I was awoken, and that's really helpful information to know. The Fitbit actually adds another tracking function to that. It will actually tell you if you snore, believe it or not. So it does have a microphone. You can switch this on. It's not required. It does drain the battery a bit faster. You only get about 2 days of battery life instead of the normal maybe 5 to 6 days of battery life. If you're just joining me, feel free to put any questions about any of these products in the chat. I'm happy to answer them for you live here. But it's really neat to see that, and it'll tell you about whether you snore, helpful information to know. Also, just about the overall sound levels in your sleep environment. So if you need to maybe make sure that there's no background sounds, or if your neighbor starts their loud car up and drives by every morning at 5 in the morning, it'll tell you there's a spike in sound levels, and that might be why you're waking up at that time. So there's a lot of great, very accurate data that you can get from both of these wearables about sleep too, which is again nice if you're setting resolutions that maybe address your overall. Let's see. Oh, great! I got a follower here. Thank you. If you've got any questions, Geraldine helped me actually a lot in starting to do this, talking about these products. So thank you for that. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm very happy to answer any of those here live for you. But yeah, I think these are really great devices if you want to track things like mental health and be able to track stress levels, and that can be really important. And again, with the Fitbit Sense, you can pull up this stress management metric, and it's a holistic metric. It takes into account sleep, it looks at your heart rate variability, it looks at self-reported levels. You can say in the app, today I feel calm, today I don't. It takes into account those actual physiological stress readings you can take using the watch itself. Again, there's a sensor built into the bezel here, and you can put your hand on it and take a stress reading there. And there's things you can do to improve that. So Fitbit has, again, guided meditations and other things that you can use to hopefully, improve your stress levels. So both really great devices. Let's switch over and talk about another really cool device that I love for the holidays and really for any time of year. This is the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. So if you love to read, if you need a little distraction or break during the holidays, that again can be kind of a stressful time, then it's great to have a ebook reader because you can choose exactly what you want to read. You can instantly purchase books on the Kindle store with this. And if you decide you want to read the latest novel, or if you want to switch and get your cookbook and find some holiday recipes in there, or if you just want to give a nice gift to the reader in your life, this is a really great device to use. And I see a message here from Geraldine saying, hello, thank you so much for coming in and joining me, Geraldine. I really appreciate that. So with the Paperwhite here, a couple of things I like about it. It is super thin, super light. It is actually the lightest, thinnest Kindle that Amazon has made. I've got it in a case here, but the device itself is even thinner than you're seeing. This is already quite thin. It's thinner than a paperback book, and it's about the same size physically as a paperback book. And it's like a book in a lot of other ways too. So it's not actually, the screen you see here is not actually a kind of a pixelated screen like you would have on a tablet or on your phone. This is actually an e-ink screen. And what that means is that there's actually ink underneath the surface here, little particles of ink. And it uses electricity to actually move that ink around the screen and draw the text of your book. And this is actually a touch screen, so I can open this up. I can go into a book here, and we can see some of the pages. I can try to pull something up where you can take a look, and we'll take a look at how this looks on the page. But you can see it actually produces this ink under the screen that's the same resolution as you would get in a paperback book. So it's not like reading, I don't really like to read on my phone or on a tablet where you've got these little pixels and it just doesn't feel natural. This, because it is actual ink that's being moved around electronically, it really feels like reading a real book. You can still read it in bright sunlight, and uses a lot less battery power, so you can use this for up to a week or even more between charges. Just a lot of big advantages to that e-ink screen. Or if you're just sort of a traditionalist like me and you like to have that experience of reading, almost like on a traditional book with ink, this is great because it's still super light, super portable, easy to carry around, easy to buy the books on the Kindle store, but because it's got that e-ink screen, you're able to have that same resolution that you would get in an actual physical book. There's some other advantages of this over a physical book as well. One of them is that it is waterproof. So try taking your paperback and reading in the tub, or if you're traveling over the holidays, I'm jealous of you, reading at the beach. This is easy to take and read there because the device itself is actually waterproof. So, you can take it to the pool, and if you spill something on it, if you've got it in the tub and you drop it by mistake, you're not going to ruin your Kindle Paperwhite. The screen is waterproof, the whole device is waterproof, and it's just nice to have that peace of mind. Great device for travel for that reason. Again, if you are traveling over the holidays, you got a lot of battery life, so you can charge it up, but you could also probably read it for a whole vacation. I've done that several times without having to charge it, which is great. The lightness is great too when you're traveling, so you can just drop this in your suitcase, put it in a bag, super easy to take with you. And because you're able to get books on the Kindle store, wherever you are, you can connect to Wi-Fi, then you can download a book, and if you decide you want to read about the destination that you're in, or history, you can probably find a book about that, pull it up, and within a couple of seconds you're reading. You can also get previews of books, And another nice thing with this is that it does have a backlight, so you can get light behind this. So right now, I'm in pretty bright light, but if you're reading at night, if you want to do that as a little escape in the evening, maybe you're reading in a dark room, it's nice to have the ability to get that backlight. And you can adjust the brightness of that backlight, and you can also adjust the size of the text on the screen. So if you need a little bit larger, almost like a large print format, you can actually switch the text size and be able to still read there, or make it smaller depending on your own preferences. If you're just joining me, we are live here. We're talking about the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. This is their thinnest, lightest Kindle so far. I love the e-ink screen. I love the waterproofness. I love the super thin aspect of this, and also the ability to just download any of the books that you would get in the Kindle store. Again, if you do have any questions, just drop those in the chat, and I'm very happy to answer them live here for you. Great item to have just around the house over the holidays. Again, if you need that little escape into a book, but also a really great option for the reader in your life. And you can get them this, and then you can always get them more Kindle books throughout the year to read on their device. So I'm going to put this off to the side here. Again, any of the products that I'm talking about here, these are my top holiday picks. If you're liking what you're seeing, please press the follow button, follow me. You'll get all my live streams, and I'd love to share more with you. But take a look, anything here, feel free to ask me questions in the chat. We're just talking about the Kindle Paperwhite there. I'm going to take a moment to have a sip of water, and in doing that, I'll also show you in just a second this other product. I actually just got this in the last week, and it's been great. Excuse me, I spilled a little bit there. Anyway, this is the Clean Canteen. And it's actually a 64-ounce water bottle. So this is huge. This is a half-gallon water bottle. And it's really great for if you're going to work out, or just, again, with those New Year's resolutions, if you want to stay more hydrated, or if you're just doing, maybe some marathon cooking. I'm going to get to that in a second, over the holidays. And you want to have a bunch of water. This is half a gallon, 64 ounces. This is a single-wall stainless steel water bottle. And it's great because it's super strong. It's great if you're going to do hikes or you're going to get outside over the holidays. And this is a super strong water bottle, and it's all stainless, so there's no kind of lining or BPA or plastics to worry about with that. It's got this super wide lid. You can actually put, if you're camping, maybe you're going camping over the holidays, you can actually put a water filter directly into this and fill it using that. And as you can see, I could drink a lot of water very quickly. I can spill a little bit on myself. And this is just a great option if you're looking for a huge water bottle. I just wanted to have a water bottle where I could fill it up at the beginning of the day. And I know if I drink this whole thing throughout the day, I'm probably going to stay hydrated. So it's nice to have that. I don't have to keep refilling it, at the refrigerator. I can just have this ready to go, try to drink one a day, and I'm in good shape. So put that off to the side. And let's talk a little bit about, again, we started to allude to the fact that, a lot of us are probably doing a lot of cooking over the holidays. And at the moment, it's actually Hanukkah, the holiday of Hanukkah. And I wanted to share this. This is the Essential Jewish Baking Cookbook. This is a really cool cookbook from an author in San Jose. Her name is Beth Lee, and she actually was kind enough to send this to me to check out, so thank you for that. And this shares some really great recipes that are traditional Jewish baked goods. So if you celebrate Hanukkah, or you just want to learn more about the holiday, or share some of these traditions with family, there's a bunch of different recipes in here that are really awesome. I actually made one 2 days ago called sufganiyot. These are jelly donuts. They're very traditional to have at the Hanukkah holiday. And let me just pull up the recipe here in the book. There's actually 50 different baked goods that you can check out in here, but this is the recipe for the baked or fried sufganiyot. And again, these are like little stuffed jelly donuts. Absolutely delicious. These are kind of long. It's a 3-page recipe. You can see there's nice photos that go along with this. There's some description of where the foods fit into the Jewish baking tradition. And again, sufganiyot, they're fried in oil. It's a big part of the Hanukkah holiday. And being able to make those from scratch is a really awesome capability. It took me probably a couple of hours to actually do that and cook from here, but the end result was absolutely delicious. They were just sweet and filled with jelly and really made for a happy celebration. So if you're looking again if you celebrate Hanukkah and you're looking for some of these recipes, or some classic recipes like challah or black and white cookies, things to enjoy throughout the year, as well as Kammentaschen and other things that are specific to other holidays. Great option here. Even if you don't celebrate the holiday, maybe you just want to share some different traditions with your family, or just experience some really yummy pastries and things, check out the Essential Jewish Baking Cookbook. And thanks again to Beth for sending me this to try out. Let's dive in on another holiday pick. So this one might be a little bit, surprising, like why is this a holiday item? I'm going to go ahead and pull it out here though, and we can take a look at it. So this is my Metaphy Air MA14 air purifier. And again, you might be wondering why this is something to use for the holidays. I'm going to put this down. I'm actually going to plug it in so that we can take a look at how this works. And Metaphy Air is actually a really cool brand. I've worked with them on a couple of different things, and they actually produce air purifiers that are a HEPA 13 air purifier. So you may have heard of a HEPA filter. HEPA filters are sort of the gold standard in removing small particulates from the air, and that's things like pet dander, it's things like smoke, allergens, kind of stuff you really don't want in the air in your house. HEPA filters are great at removing that, but H13 HEPA filters are actually even better at removing that. It's, again, a medical grade filter. I actually learned about these from my dentist, believe it or not. So this was actually being used in their office. And, I asked, well, what's this thing? And why did you choose this air purifier? They told me about the HEPA 13 standard, that it's actually filters out 99.9% of small particles down to 0.1 microns. So it's very, very, very tiny particles like you would find in smoke. And this is a great pick to have throughout the year. Where I live in California, we unfortunately get quite a lot of wildfire smoke, and the H13 HEPA filter in this Metaphy Air MA14 Purifier does a really great job of clearing that out of the air in my home, and just really making it a better air quality. So let's take a look at the device. I like the MA14 because it's just so simple. It's got these really basic controls. So we're just going to press the button on the front, switch it on here. You can see the little blue light illuminates. And we are live here, so if you're just joining us, please feel free to ask any questions you have about any of these products in the chat. Happy to answer those. And if you're liking this, please follow me, and you can get all my live streams in the future. So this is, again, switched on here, and we've got a bunch of different settings we can do. So switch the power on, and then there's just a basic button at the top here that we can press that's going to change the fan speed. You can see there's a silent S setting, and then 1, 2, and 3. And when we get up to that 3, you can even start to hear the fan go, and it's moving quite a lot of air through here. Or you can turn this back down and get a totally silent setting. I see a comment here from Anonymous Miner. I have some of the larger Metaphy Air purifiers, had them 2 years now, and I love them. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love these too, and I actually have a couple of the bigger purifiers. So this is the one I'm highlighting today. I'll get into why I think it's a great holiday pick. But there's also the MA112, which is a great purifier. It's huge. It's like this, but supersized. And the MA25, I believe it is also a really great purifier of a mid-size. This is a smaller purifier. It's a great way to get into starting to use the Metaphy Air purifiers. And I like, again, that it's super simple. Again, it's a great way to get started, and it's nice to have these for individual rooms. So some of the bigger purifiers that Metaphy Air makes, also H13, so also that HEPA medical grade purifier, but they're more designed to clear out a big space, a living room, or even like my dentist's office, to clear out a big business space and that kind of thing. What I like about this is that these are sized really to put in an individual room. So if you have guests staying over the holidays and then you want to have, give them their own ability to turn on and off a purifier, you can get a couple of these MA14 purifiers, H13, put these in individual rooms of your home, and it's enough to purify, in my experience, at least 250 square feet. And it'll do several air changes per hour. So that's a good size bedroom, home office, maybe even a mid-sized living room. You can put several of these around your house and just have individual control of your purification, especially if you don't have, a lot of people now have these sort of open concept homes, but if you have a more traditional home where there's individual rooms, it's nice to have the flexibility of these smaller purifiers that you can set up in each of those rooms. I also like that the controls, again, are just so simple. So I was showing, you press this fan speed button, you can adjust the speed. It's just LEDs and a little readout on there. Super easy. It's got the tactile physical buttons. Easy for anyone to operate. So again, if you have family members coming in and they don't know how to use the more complex air purifiers and they don't want to have to fiddle with all these buttons, it's just so easy. I mean, it's just literally a big power switch. That's honestly all you need. Just turn that on and off. So it makes it easy to give people control. The other thing I like about this too is that there's this button in the middle and you can actually press that and you can see the purifier is still running, but the lights are all switched off. So if you're really sensitive to light in your sleeping space, and I definitely don't like to have a lot of light in my sleeping space, you can use that and switch off the lights on here. The purifier will still work just the same, but it's not going to have that little blue light that can kind of, bother you if you're trying to sleep. So really great purifier there. Swapping out the filter is very easy. It's actually a circular filter. So you can see on the bottom of the MA14 here, actually all around it, there's this little grill or grate, and that's where the air is being pulled in, and then the air is kind of blown out by a fan on the top here. There's actually a circular filter on the inside, and it's super easy. You just unscrew it, put a new one in, and you're good to go. A lot of purifiers have multiple filters, multiple levels of filters. This integrates several different filters, so you can get rid of odors and that kind of thing with a built-in carbon filter, but it's all one sort of circular unit. Let me actually, I'll go ahead instead of talking about that. Let me unplug. Always want to unplug your purifier before you go to swap out the filter. Doing this is super easy. There's this thing on the bottom. Open it, pop the filter out. There's that filter. Again, you can see it's this circular. You can see it says genuine H13, so you know it's for real. You've got a carbon filter on the inside. You've got the HEPA filter around the sides here. And again, if I was changing this out, it would literally be as simple as, drop that in, and then we put the bottom back on. See if I can do this live and do it properly without really looking. Yeah, and then we're good to go, and we can start to use this again in our room. So you can see once you learn how to do it, the filter change is probably a 25-second process. It's super easy, and that means you can change out these filters as frequently as you want to. I find every 6 months is a good length, and the cool thing with this is actually the lights on the front will start to blink to tell you when it's time to swap out the filter. So I've actually used this so extensively during the wildfire season here in California that I totally ran out one of the filters. And so it's nice to have the ability to swap those out and put new ones in, and then you're good to go again. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to put those in the chat. Maybe if you use one of these, share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. This is live, so you can just go ahead and, any questions you have about this, the MA14 air purifier that we're talking about now, or any of the other products that I've chosen here for my list of holiday picks, please do put those in the chat. If you're liking what you're seeing here, please follow me. You can press the follow button, and you'll follow me and then be able to see all of my live streams talking about all kinds of different products that are a great fit for the holidays and beyond. So yeah, I really love the MA14 for a holiday pick, just because if you want to get it for somebody, it's a really nice, maybe not the flashiest gift, but if you know somebody who's in an area where there's not very good air quality, it's really a very compassionate gift, I think, and I've gotten these for some people in my own community when we had wildfires, and you want to make sure they're protected. It's really nice to have the ability to give them something like this. Shows that you really care about their the air quality in their home, and because it is so simple to set up, they can set that up, get it going, and it will make a major improvement. And I've been told that this has really helped people to have one of these in their home. They didn't even realize how bad the air could get during wildfires. Also, if you're doing cooking over the holidays, then having the ability to filter your air is really great. I see another comment here from Anonymous Miner. This is why I purchased mine. Their girlfriend has severe asthma, live in California. 2 of the larger Medify Air purifiers clear their entire 1,500 square foot home, no problem. And they also have 2 dogs. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, if you have somebody in your home that might have more sensitivity to air pollution, indoor air can get surprisingly bad, and especially during the fire season, it's great to have the peace of mind of having these purifiers and keeping your air quality really solid throughout that fire season. You mentioned having dogs too. One of the great things with this, I have 2 dogs, and it will filter out all that pet dander, pet hair, and things that end up floating around your home, as well as things your dogs track in, like mold, spores, and that kind of stuff from the outside. So again, great for people with pets. It's a great point. The H13 filter is particularly good for that because it's going to get so much of those small particulates, and also pollen. So if you have somebody who has allergies, filtering out the pollen can be really important. And that's really easy to do, again, with the Metaphy Air purifiers there. So any other questions about this, please feel free to put down in the chat there. I want to take a quick second here to call out the desk that I'm using here. This is actually the Flexispot EB8 standing desk. Flexispot sent me one, so thank you for that. And this is a great standing desk, as you can see, for what I'm doing right here, which is streaming. But you can also use this for working from home, and it works great for that. And some things I like about it, you can see it's got this big surface. It's got this nice sort of wood feel to it. It's super sturdy. I'm not going to knock any of these products over. And the coolest thing about it, it's actually got a control panel over on the side here. And I can actually press a button and change the height of that desk. So I can go from sitting to standing. And imagine I want to sit down now and type at my computer. I can have my whole computer and monitors and all my stuff, even if it's really heavy, up on the EB8 standing desk there. I can sit at my chair, and then maybe I want to stand up. I can just press that button, raise the whole thing up, including your monitors and your whatever you've got, your inbox, your old inbox, whatever it is on your tabletop. You can super easily change the height on the desk there. And one thing I like about Flexispot's products is that they are really easy to assemble. So sometimes you get these desks that might take you several hours to put them together. This is great because it took me probably, maybe about half an hour. It's very intuitive. So thank you again to Flexispot for sending this to me to test out. Been really enjoying it for my own use here, which is being able to show you all of these products, to do our fireside chat with our not real fireplace here. There's some actual USB ports built into the Flexispot EB8 too, so I've got my fireplace plugged in to one of those. But if you're working from home and you don't want to be sitting down all day, this is a really great option, the EB8, for that as well. Another thing that's great to have over the holidays is to start to get into some of the Amazon Echo products. So I have a bunch of Amazon Echo devices in my house. I've got ones that have screens. I've got some of the Echo Dots. And this one, I think, is a great entry point to the kind of Echo universe. And this is the Echo Dot 3rd generation. So this is a really simple, again, just basic intro device to get started with the Echo. But like all of the Amazon Echo devices, I'm going to move the Purifier out of the way here so I'm not blocking myself. If you have any questions about any of these products, do ask me, and I'm happy to, in the chat there, I'm happy to grab them and put them back on the counter. But let's highlight this one front and center here. So this is the Amazon Echo Dot, it's a 3rd generation. And you can see there's no screen on it. It's just got this sort of fabric coating around the outside, almost like a speaker grill on there. And it does have speakers built in. And like all of the Echo devices, this connects to the Amazon Alexa. when I say her name, she'll light up and listen to me, service. And that allows you to control all aspects of your home and to get a lot of great information using your voice. So this can recognize your voice, and you can actually speak and give commands and ask for things. And for the holidays, one thing I really love to do with this is to be able to play music and to have music in different rooms. So I can say things like, Alexa, play me some holiday songs.
Here's a station you might like, Hawaiian, on Amazon Music.
And you can hear I'm going to start to get some songs going. Alexa, stop. And I can control the volume, I can control all the functions using my voice there. I can also get things like recipes. If I'm cooking, I want to cook hands-free. I can ask for a recipe and the device will actually read that to me. I can ask for things like, when does Target close? Say I ran out of supplies and I want to go over. When does Whole Foods open? I can ask the device and get that data delivered through a voice interface. And again, I really like a lot of the Echo devices, but this is really cool if you want to just get started or if you want to give somebody one that's really simple, no screens to deal with, very compact. It actually even has an auxiliary port, so you can plug this into your stereo if you want to have better audio quality to play music over the holidays. You've got basic controls on the top, so we can change the volume on here. You can see the colored light around the side will actually indicate the volume level. I can reduce the volume here too. I can mute the microphone, really important for privacy. If I don't want it to be listening, turns red, tells me that microphone is off. And I can also press to start it listening. If I don't want to have to use its name to wake it up, we can do that as well. So it doesn't know what I'm talking about, so it's just going to stop and not do anything. But again, listening to music, checking weather, over the holidays is great. I can say, Alexa, what's the weather in San Francisco, California?
Right now in San Francisco, California, it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has intermittent clouds with a high of 58 degrees and a low of 51 degrees. By the way,
Alexa, stop. So really helpful, if I'm planning to go outside and I want to know what the weather is going to be like. Luckily I'm in a place where the weather is pretty good. But if you're, wondering if it's going to snow or going to rain over the holidays, you can always ask your device, and it's just there, listening and waiting to answer your questions. So I really like that. And this is, again, with the 3rd generation Dot here, it's a really great device to get started in that ecosystem, to get familiar with the system, learn the commands, and you can always add other devices to your home. So you can have one in different rooms, you can have one with a screen. But again, just as a basic device to get started, this is great. And because it does have the auxiliary port on there, if you want to plug it into your stereo system, you can actually get really nice quality of audio. And it's nice to be able to, just be there and be able to say, play some holiday music, or, you can identify an artist, play some classical music or play some Beethoven or whatever you want to give a classy kind of background music to your holiday gathering. It's super easy to do that. Plus, the nice thing with anything tied into the Echo ecosystem with Alexa is that it'll expand and grow, and the commands available will kind of increase over time, and you can access all of that, again, just using your voice. So a really cool device, nice to have those around for the holidays, and it makes a nice, stocking stuffer too, because it is small and relatively basic, but a good way to get people started in that space. Speaking of stocking stuffers, I want to highlight a really cool product if you have any kids in your life. If you have kids visiting, or if you have kids of your own, I do, I'm a dad. And this is a really neat toy that is great for younger toddlers. It's great even up to bigger toddlers, and honestly, it's kind of fun even for a big person like myself to play with. So this is the Giraffe Laugh. And it's a toy that's, I'll share why, from a parent perspective, this is great. But let me just show you first how it works. So we've got this big friendly giraffe on the top. We've got this little dome with balls inside of it. They're colorful, and I'll come back to why that's important in a second. And we've got all these little, again, colorful balls bouncing around, and there's this flywheel, I would call it. I'm going to use a technical term. It's probably there's probably a simpler way to describe that, but it's got these little colorful, butterflies and lions and things. So the way that kids can use this is they actually press the top down, and watch what happens when I do that. So that flywheel in there spins, and you can see that spinning and the colorful things going. And those little balls pop around and move around. There's a lot of dynamism and action and movement in there. It's really exciting. And then they settle down and fall into these individual little holes. And there's more holes than balls, so every time they're going to, hopefully wind up somewhere different. So this is super fun for kids because it's really easy for them to operate, even if they don't have those fine motor skills to be able to do a puzzle or do a more complex toy. They can just take their hands and mash the top of that, and it gets all of this movement and color and interest going there. And if you have kids, especially toddlers, this is going to be so popular to just watch that. And it lasts for a while with each push, so it's not like push it and then you have to do it again. Give it a solid push and then you just wait and it's going to go. You can even keep pushing it and keep accelerating those and keep that action going in there. So this is really super fun for kids. Again, starting at a surprisingly young age. As soon as they can start to do those big ballistic kind of movements, they can learn how to operate this, all the way up to, even like a 3 or 4 year olds can still have fun guessing which hole the ball is going to go into and that kind of thing, making this even a more engaging experience. If you're just joining me, we're talking about this really fun Giraffe Laugh toy. I think it's a great stocking stuffer for the holidays. If you have any questions about it, feel free to put those in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. But again, the best thing about this from a parent's perspective is that everything is contained, right? It's one unit. And if you're a parent yourself, you probably know why that's so important. Because if this was open and your toddler was pressing these balls would go flying all over the room. The dog would be trying to eat them. They get lost under stuff, and you never see them again. So the cool thing with this is that it's really fun, and it's got all that movement and action and color and everything, and the fun animal kind of look to it. But all the pieces are contained inside of this dome. So I can pick this up and I can move it around. I can take it with me if I'm traveling. I can bring this out, if you don't have kids in your house and you want to have one toy that's not going to end up strewn all over the place, this is a great one to have, and you can just set this up and bring it out, and it's fun to play with. So everything stays contained, and that eliminates the problem with losing the pieces. It eliminates the issue with these potentially being a choking hazard. Everything is just big, easy, contained in here, and that makes it great for especially those younger kids who are just learning the fine motor skills to be able to activate this and cause that fun, bouncing movement happening in there. So really cool toy with the Giraffe Laugh. I love the name. It's just so silly. And this is a play school toy, so the quality is going to be really good. It's going to meet all the standards in terms of construction and materials. I've had this for probably 6 months at least, and I have 3 kids, and this has gotten tons of use and hasn't had any kind of issues, hasn't gotten broken. It's super strong. They can pick it up, they can carry it around really readily, and they're not going to damage it there. Cool device, fun thing to have in your home over the holidays. Also makes a really great stocking stuffer, a really great gift for one of the nights of Hanukkah if you celebrate that holiday. So I'm going to just go back through a couple of these things. We've seen a lot of really great products here. These are some of my top picks for the holidays. If you have any questions about any of these, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm very happy to answer any questions that you have. If you're liking this, if you're enjoying this live stream, please press follow along with me. You can see all of my live streams in the future, and you can click and see any of these products and check them out in more detail. So again, we talked a little bit about the Amazon Halo Band. Really great, really basic wearable. Put it on your wrist. It's got this fabric band going on with it. Waterproof, no screens, so none of the distractions of that. You can put it right on your wrist, and it'll track throughout the day your overall level of activity. And it'll actually give you different levels of scores, points, based on the intensity of your workout. So I tend to like both kinds. I like to take a long meandering walk, low intensity, but maybe an hour, even an hour and a half. Great to do that after your big holiday meals, obviously. And you can track those and get points for it. I also like to work out. You can see my weight set up behind me here. So if you're doing that more intense, high intensity, shorter workout, it's also really great to have this because you'll get points for that high intensity level. Another wearable that I really love is the Fitbit Sense. This is sort of my go-to wearable device. I've been wearing this for over a year now, basically almost every minute of every day. just take it off to charge it. It's waterproof. You can wear it in the shower. You can even track swimming with it if you're a swimmer. It's nice to have that flexibility, nice to have that ability to do lots of different kinds of tracking. And I really love that with this, you can track things like stress levels, you can track sleep really accurately, and it's got some unique sensors that are really best in class, like the ability to take a stress reading, and it also has a skin temperature sensor. So you can see overnight, was your skin temperature higher or lower than a typical night, make changes to your sleep environment. It's really great to have that ability with the Fitbit Sense smartwatch. If you have any questions about it, I see a couple people are just joining us here. Please feel free to put those in the chat. I'd love to answer any questions that you have about any of the devices that we're talking about, any of the products that we're talking about here. So those are the two wearables I would pick for the holidays. If you want something with a screen, with more apps, and more advanced sensors, obviously the name Sense says it all. The Fitbit Sense is a great option for all of those things. If you want something that's a little bit more basic, doesn't have a screen, but it's still going to give you a lot of metrics in the associated app, the Halo Band is a great option for that. I really like that this is just so simple and sort of unobtrusive. You're not going to be distracted by it. And I also like that it does take into account all of your different activity levels. Fitbit is much more focused on giving you metrics, steps, and sleep and heart rate. This synthesizes everything into this one activity metric. So I think it's easier over time to track that and make improvements, and there's just less data to sort of crunch. Then again, if you really like to crunch data, Fitbit Sense is a great option for that. We talked about the Play School Giraffe Laugh. Definitely super fun. Not a tech product by any stretch, but really great to have in your home if you have kids. I do. I have kids, so it's great to have this for younger toddlers, and it's kind of fun for adults as well. Honestly, you've got these cool bouncing balls and a lot of action. Fun giraffe kind of motif to the appearance of it here. And this is a really cool device to use too. Not a tech product, but still neat. We looked also at the Echo Dot 3rd generation. This is kind of the entry point to the Echo universe at this point. Really simple to use. Again, just like the Halo Band in some ways, no screen on it, but you can still do all of your commands and with your voice. So I like to use it almost every day for weather. So I can say, Alexa, what's the temperature in San Ramon, California?
Right now, in San Ramon, California, it's 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight,
Alexa, stop. And you can see, you can even stop the report, 54 degrees. And I can say, Alexa, what's the temperature in Philadelphia?
Right now, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa,
Tonight.
stop. So I could check both sides of the country in a couple of seconds there, as well as getting music and getting all kinds of things that are helpful over the holidays to have. You can get holiday playlists, you can make your own playlists, and you can do a lot of different cool things with this. Getting a message in the chat that about sound effects, we'll call them, that you can do with this. Yes, you can do all kinds of fun things. This is actually, as long as you're supervising them, this is a fun thing for kids too. You can ask her to tell you jokes. You can do all kinds of fun things and silly things with the Echo Dot. And I think this is cool because it's, again, such a basic, easy entry point to that Echo world. And then if you like what you are doing with it, you learn the commands with it, then you can get a device with a screen, you can get more functionality. It's also great if you want to add an Echo device and you already have some in your home, you want to add another one to a different space. So I've used these in the garage, have it outside, and if you're in the workshop and you want to make a note on your to-do list, for example, you can do that with your voice, and it's just nice to have that presence. Also, if you want to shut it off, there is a button to do that. You can see the light turns red and it's not listening to you anymore. Obviously important from a privacy perspective to have that capability. Another thing we talked about here is the Amazon Kindle Paperwhites. This is one of the best e-readers out there. It's the thinnest, lightest Kindle that Amazon has ever made. It is waterproof, so you can read it in the tub, you can read it at the beach if you're lucky enough to be traveling over the holidays, and you can get this e-ink screen. So one of the things I love with this is that the screen is actual ink under here. It is still a touch screen, so you can interact with it with touch. You can flip the pages and everything, but the screen itself is actually ink, and it's using electricity to move the ink around on the screen and form the actual words of your book. So it's almost as if you're reading a real book. It's not like reading a phone screen or a tablet screen where there's pixels and it can look kind of grainy sometimes. This is really ink. So it really feels like reading an actual book. You can read it in direct sunlight. It's not going to be all washed out. But you get all the advantages of an e-reader in terms of being portable, being able to buy books on the go, light, so you don't have to take a whole library with you when you're traveling, which is great. And also, again, that waterproof function is super awesome. So if you like to read in the tub, give yourself a little me time over the holidays, this is a great option to use here with the Kindle Paperwhite. I also talked a little bit about the Flexispot EB8 standing desk. This is what you see me using here to show these products. So thank you to Flexispot for sending this to me. They sent me this one to check out. It's great for this kind of application, great for working from home too. And again, the thing I like best about it is that you can actually press this button and move the desk up and down on its own. So you don't have to adjust it. It'll actually move quite a substantial amount of weight up and down there. And there's actually USB ports, so I can plug in this case, my fireplace for our Fireside chat over there, but you could also plug in devices that you want to charge, and you've got this nice big surface. So thank you to Flexispot for sending that to me. I'm going to take a second, actually. This reminds me that I want to stay better hydrated, so give me a second here, and I'll talk about what I've got here. Hopefully won't spill on myself like I did the first time. So this is the Clean Canteen. This is a wide mouth. It's a 64-ounce water bottle. So you can see it's huge. That's a half a gallon. So that's quite a lot of water. And it's 1,900 milliliters, so almost 2 liters of water in here. And stainless steel, single wall construction. The only downside with that is if you put something really cold in there, you will get some condensation on the outside because it is single walled. But the nice thing with it is that it's very light, again, because of that single wall stainless steel construction. And the clean part refers to the fact that it's made using carbon neutral energy, so it is a carbon neutral product, and also it's clean in terms of not having any BPA because it is all metal on the inside and outside. So it's nice to have that. The nice wide mouth, so you can actually fill it very readily. You can put ice in it very easily. And what I like about this is that I can load this up at the beginning of the day. I can drink it throughout the day, and I know that if I finish one of these in the day, I'm probably going to have stayed hydrated. Also for workouts, it's great. If you're going on a longer hike or run, it's nice to be able to take a bunch of water with you. Or if you're camping, this actually is compatible with water filters. So you can fill it when you're out camping as well. So that's really cool to see. If you have any questions, we're live here. Please do put them in the chat. If you're enjoying the live stream, please press the follow button, follow me, and you can see all of my streams in the future. Really cool device there with the Clean Canteen, and I find it again really helpful to have that, and just you don't have to think about staying hydrated throughout the day. You can just basically ensure that you're always drinking enough by finishing one of those. I'm going to highlight here quickly this is a really cool cookbook I've started to use. Again, talking about the holidays. We are in a holiday right now. It's Hanukkah at the moment. So this is the Essential Jewish Baking Cookbook. Beth Lee, the author, sent this to me, so thanks, Beth, for doing that. And this shares 50 traditional baked goods from the Jewish tradition. Everything from challah, hamantashen, black and white cookies, something you'd find in a traditional deli, and also some really great stuff for Hanukkah. So I actually just recently made the sufganiyot. Those are jelly donuts. And these are really amazing little fried jelly donuts. It's a really simple recipe, but it's kind of a whole day thing. You're making a dough and you're proofing it and you're letting it rise. And I then fried those up, and you stuff them with with jelly, and they just come out amazing. So I can show, the book has, this is actually a 3-page recipe, so that you can see little pictures you get in there, really detailed, great descriptions, and it's so easy to follow along. So if you celebrate Hanukkah or any of the Jewish holidays and you want to learn about some of these great baked goods, or if you don't and you just want to kind of get a different culture involved in your holidays, this is a great thing. Great for kids too, to make some of these with you and just get some knowledge of a different culture if this culture is not your own. And thank you again to Beth for sending this. The donuts were awesome, so thank you. Finally, I'll pull up here again the Metaphy Air MA14 air purifier. This was a hit with people the first time around. We had a couple of different Metaphy Air fans. I've worked with Medify on testing some of their purifiers. This one I actually got myself, but they're a really great brand. And this is the MA14 air purifier. So this is the smallest kind of entry-level purifier. And I love that it's an H13, so it's a HEPA filter. It's actually a medical grade, a little bit better, or removing more particles than a traditional HEPA. So it'll actually take out 99.9% of small particulates, and that makes it super effective for things like wildfire smoke. I live in California. Unfortunately, we have to deal with a lot of wildfire smoke, so it's great to be able to remove that from the air. Pet dander, allergens, all kinds of things. One of our viewers was saying that they had one of these to help a family member with asthma, and also if you have dogs, as one of the viewers here does, it's great again for that pet dander and all that stuff that your dogs might track into your home, like mold and that kind of thing. This will remove all of it. And I like that these are sized to an individual room. I find this works great in a room of up to about 250 square feet. You get several air changes an hour at that size, and it's super easy to control. I showed earlier, you've got just really basic on and off, change the fan speed. It's all just LEDs, no screens to negotiate with on there. And when you're ready to change the filter, there's a circular filter you just pop out of the inside of this, and it's really easy to swap that out and put a new one in. So great for the holidays. If you have family members coming in, put one of these in each room. They can control it themselves, really intuitive. You don't have to give everybody a tutorial on how to turn the air purifier on. Also great if you're doing a lot of cooking over the holidays. So if you're making something delicious and fried, like the donuts that I made from this Essential Jewish Baking Cookbook, then you often will end up with smoke in your house and having that, kind of fill up your space, and some cooking odors and that kind of thing. And this does a great job of powering through those and making your home smell really fresh and clean and getting those particulates out of the air. So those are my top picks for some great holiday items you can pick up, things to improve your life over the holidays, maybe some things like the wearables to kind of honor your commitments in the new year, and maybe work out more, maybe improve your stress management or your sleep. Some great e-readers, some things that'll make a great stocking stuffer or fun items for kids. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you found this helpful, please do press the follow button, follow along. I'd love to have you join me for any future streams I do. And if you want to check out any of the products we talked about today, you can just go ahead and click through there. So thank you so much for joining me to talk about my top holiday picks.